Hi, my name is Roshilda and I work with Kenya Association of Manufacturers. Welcome to the second episode of KAM Live. KAM Live is a digital platform that allows us to tell you, our members, and the public about the association's activities and initiatives aimed at creating holistic solutions for our communities and building a sustainable manufacturing sector. On this episode of KAM Live, we feature Ms. Joyce Gachugi, the CEO of PETCO Kenya, the first PET recycling organization in the country. She talks about PET recycling and the lucrative business of recycling and the value chain of waste management. Please don't miss that. But before that, here's the Manufacturing Minute.
My name is Dr. Simon Githuku, Research and Fiscal Policy Manager at KAM, and we are delighted with the focus the government has accorded the manufacturing sector, which economic history has reviewed to be the sole driver of economic transformation. But there are some constraints affecting its growth. One reading is high costs of electricity, which is also not reliable. And the KAM has been engaging government on this, and we are hopeful that soon the cost of electricity rebate program will be gazetted by Treasury, which will reduce the cost of power. Another major problem is logistic challenges, especially clearance of cargo. And KAM has participated in the development of a port logistic report, which we are waiting the government to fully implement, so that at most clearance of cargo should take 4 days. So we look forward to more engagement with the government, and we are optimistic that these issues will be resolved.
My name is Joyce Gachugi. I am the country manager of PETCO, Kenya PET Recycling Company Limited. First and foremost, the problem with waste management globally is disposal. And the only reason waste is a nuisance is because you can see it. So the only reason you're seeing it is because it's being thrown away carelessly by consumers. I was having a conversation with one of our recycling partners the other day, and they did a small survey, and they actually asked their collectors to identify whether you have to ratio how many bottles are thrown out of the vehicles, moving vehicles, or by pedestrians vis-a-vis what they collect from the dump sites. And they actually found they're collecting more bottles now from the roads and the pedestrian walks than from the dump sites. So one of the challenges I see around that is that consumers do not know the value of what this PET bottle is. I mean, today if I was to take my ring, I wouldn't toss it out because I see the value in it, or any other thing, my clothing or my shoes. But the reason consumers are tossing out these things is because they do not see value. That's one. The second thing is our collection infrastructure in the country is wanting. Largely doesn't exist, and so we've almost left it to individuals and the private sector to kind of set up this collection infrastructure. So a lot of residences and a lot of private collectors are collecting waste and dumping it carelessly in illegal dump sites. So that's one thing that's a really big problem. So PETCO is actually a voluntary extended producer responsibility organization. An extended producer responsibility organization is really exactly that, a producer organization. Who are the producers here? Those are the people who are generating, manufacturing, or utilizing PET bottles or any other material to be able to put their product into the market. The reason it's called extended is because these producers then put in resources to be able to follow that product post-consumer, i.e. what happens to that product once the consumer has finished utilizing whatever was inside it. Every entity, big, small, or medium, has a role to play. So it doesn't matter how small your volume is that you're generating per month in terms of bottles, or how large you are, everybody's responsibility is taken care of. The beauty about the extended producer responsibility world over, it shifts the burden from one entity to collectively. And collectively, not just for manufacturers, even consumers must engage. I'll tell you why. In order for us as PETCO to make sure that our recycling partners who we are contracting to be able to recycle certain volumes get the bottles, we must engage consumers. A value chain is simply a process flow of something that has a value to it. It's really that simple. And it has a value that keeps increasing as it moves up from one point to another in a chain. So at the very start, we have consumers. And so consumers will go to a supermarket or a kiosk or any other retail outlet and purchase a product. It can be your drinking water, it can be your juice, it can be your carbonated soft drink, name it, whatever the brand. You purchase it, you drink it, and then now we kick in. We kick in the sense our collectors will then be looking for that bottle. They're looking for it because it has a value. We have a value per kilogram for that bottle, and right now, since we came into the market, the value has shot up. So before you would find recyclers buying bottles for 5 to 8 shillings, now they're buying bottles for between 15 to 24 shillings, and so now you have more collectors picking up the bottles. Once collectors pick up the bottles, they are aggregated, put together to be able to have economies of scale, so that in terms of, for instance, today, if you want to transport your bottles from one place to another, you need at least 1.6 tons for it to make sense, yeah, so that you can have a return on your investment. So once they've attained that volume, they are able to then get a transporter to take this to a recycler. Once it goes to the recycler will then either generate an end-use product or pre-process it. Pre-processing will usually involve picking the bottles, washing them, and crushing them into flakes. For the end user, they will wash, crush into flakes, pelletize, and then those pellets are then used to make fiber or other material like this 3D. This is 3D printed. So this is made from PET filaments. It's extruded, and then they end up using a 3D printer to make something like this. And so it depends on what the end-use recycler wants to do. One of the most common end-use recycled products in Kenya today are the brushes. So one of the recycling partners in this country is TP Brush Manufacturers. They have been recycling PET bottles for years. So the brush bristles are 100% PET. And so once that happens, then the product goes to market again. It goes to market through the manufacturers, and then the cycle continues. Yes. One of the things we are advocating for today is, if you don't have any employment or you're looking for some extra income and you're young, you don't have a job, start a collection business. We say start a collection business because we've looked at the metrics. We know what you need to start. We know what it costs to transport these bottles from point A to point B. We know what the recyclers are paying, and so we can see what the margins are. I say that with confidence, and I keep saying, if you're young and you're unemployed, or if you're employed and looking for something else to do, collection is the space for you. It's the space for you because it creates decent income, and not just decent, depending on how much you put in. This is the kind of job that pays better than office jobs are paying. So it's very attractive. It's a dirty business, but very attractive to the pocket. How do you set up a collection business? It's like the question I receive the most, yeah? Just how do I set up my collection business? So I say this, start with where you are. So if in your neighborhood, you find there are people who are living in estates or housing areas that have hundreds of homes. You call us, tell us, Joyce, I want to set this thing up. Yeah? We provide some gunny bags, yeah? 1-ton gunny bags. Then we will also help you in terms of educating you on what is recyclable and what is not. collect those bottles. That is a least cost approach. So if you start there, it's least cost, yeah? And you can walk to all the neighbors and all the neighborhoods that are within your area of a radius of even 1 to 2 kilometers. Ensuring you're doing this, you will amass bulk volume. Once you've amassed bulk volume, you've raised capital. Then you can be able to start buying from the waste pickers who are collecting in the streets. So that becomes a very easy approach. However, if you have some little volume, for instance, right now I know some waste pickers are collecting bottles, say for 8 shillings, you pay them 8 shillings to maybe 10 shillings, yeah? Which means to start a business, you probably will need about, call it 16,000 Kenya shillings to be able to get 1 ton, yeah? Or 1.6 tons, yeah? So if you have some 20,000 shillings, go to your local county government office, tell them you want to be registered as a waste recycler. Yeah, we have found that county governments even have land. Yeah, that they are allowing young people who are joined as groups to use as a collection area. Once you've done that, you will go to NEMA and notify them that you are collecting these bottles. Why should you notify NEMA? Because they will guide you in terms of how to keep your environment clean to ensure that you are not polluting. Some people want to start a collection business near the river, and you end up having these bottles getting into the river. So you see that business doesn't work, and hence the reason why you need to go to NEMA and notify them of the same. Once you do that, call us. You've bulked up your volume, you've gotten to 2 tons, you segregated properly, call us. We'll tell you our recycling partner is waiting eagerly for these bottles. And before you know it, then you're scaling up because you keep reinvesting your money into. If you want to get in touch with us, go to our website, www.petco.co.ke.